Welcome to the Table Rush Talk Show. On this episode, I go over the initial plans and thoughts I have for repurposing the hundreds of hours of interview and riff content that I have and setting up some benchmark beginning points. Listen up and enjoy. You know when someone is selling from stage and at the end, the audience gets up and rushes to the back of the room to buy? That's a table rush. My name is Mischa Z, and the Table Rush Talk Show is all about bringing you the tools, strategies, and tactics that you can use to grow your audience and inspire them to buy. Documenting the process. Christmas Day. Let's see, that would be December 25th, 2021. The process. I'm committed to a few things. One is learning how to slice and dice video efficiently, add captions, and then get that onto Reels, Stories, TikTok, Instagram, Reels. I think that's in your feed. It's funny that the terminology is escapes me. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to snap pictures of my current, what it looks like today, of my current Instagram following, my current TikTok following, like number of subscribers or likes or followers, whatever that is. Same with Facebook, my Facebook personal and my Facebook business page. And I'm going to start, I had this epiphany. Bear with me as I get about 14 thought loops opening per usual. It turns out that it's good to have a podcast, it's good to have a YouTube channel, and it's good to have a blog of some sort. YouTube channels and blogs are awesome because it's term searchable, which is really cool. So I believe so on a podcast too as well, since if you search terms and sayings or people's names, if they have a podcast or they're mentioned in an episode or something like that, that podcast episode will show up. And this is versus like the content you put out on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok is not necessarily searchable, other than via hashtags when you're in the app. This is my limited awareness of it now. But I think as far as SEO searchable, indexing, all those things, I think YouTube's one, and then blogging second. Anyhow, and then podcasting is somewhere in there. So I record a podcast episode and I interview people and put those interviews on my podcast, and I edit up those things and produce them, do some sort of production, and then I also send out an email once a week. So I could, in effect, record my podcast episode, then when I go to publish it, pull the transcript, edit the transcript into a nice blog post, as well as an email. Well, email first, then I can send out the email. The email could also be a blog post, and the interviews can be turned into YouTube content. Well, and actually the short form the 8 to 15 minute ramblings, pontifications, value bombs. That's what Parker Woodward likes to say, value bombs on a podcast episode. You might have to dig for my value bombs, but they're there. Keep an open mind, they're there. Anyhow, I start with a base podcast episode. It's now very clear to me, as I have built the habit of producing a podcast episode every day, how to repurpose that content into sound bites, YouTube episodes, all these things. And I realized that when I edit one of my podcast interviews, all at the same time, if I took an extra 2 hours, let's say 3 hours, let's say the normal time let's say you could shortcut the process and just throw it up there super raw, slap on an intro and an outro onto the interview. You could do some light listening at double time to pluck out some of the key points. Take an hour, get your podcast interview up on your podcast channel, whatever. Publish it to your podcast. So if I was to take an extra 2 to 3 to 4 hours, let's say I turned it into a 4-hour process, and you could break it out over a couple of days. But I could, in effect, edit up a nice email to my email list, highlighting the key points, crafting a story from the interview. I could get the episode up onto YouTube, the video, as I'm listening to and taking the time to pull out all the key bits, points, etc. of the interview. There's a way you can do it where you're doing the transcript, so you can follow the timestamps, so you can get all the timestamps, so you can quickly and efficiently pull out those clips from iMovie of the interview, and then you're creating 10, 15, 30 second, minute highlight clips, sizzle reels of the interview that you can post onto Instagram Reels. I think Facebook or YouTube has shorts now. TikTok, Reels, if I already said that. All these things. What else? There's other ways to repurpose that content. And with the repurposing of the content you can, in effect, guide people to where you want them to go. So with all the Reels and TikToks and all that, in the TikTok profile, you've got links to maybe it's a call to action, a lead magnet to subscribe and like your YouTube channel, your podcast. So my idea is to figure out how to efficiently repurpose all this content, find out what parts of the repurposing that I like, and then do I want to sub that out? Find a who to do it. Or do I like that part, so I want to do it myself, or certain bits of that myself, and then I'll who out whatever other parts of my business I'm creating. I think you get what I'm saying. Like, it's an opportunity for me to find what I like to do within all of this and play around. Anyhow, part of documenting this process is I want to push out a TikTok clip every day. Push out these clips every day, clips and sound bites every day of the key soundbite of the interview, and see if I can grow viewership of all these social media channels, and ultimately click-throughs on calls to action, subscribers, and all that. So I'm very excited to do this. So I'm taking a bit more time on the production to publish side of things, so that just taking that a little bit of extra time, perhaps I'm now create massive usable content. I guess that's my key point. A little bit of extra time gives me a lot more content, repurpose same content across different platforms, and then see if I can get some momentum towards growth of these channels, as well as growth of click-throughs to call to actions, etc. Talked you through that. I'm right at the beginning stages of that. I've been publishing my podcast for a little over a year now. Every day I've published an episode for a year. I've put together a summit, so I have hundreds of hours of interviews and rants and things like that to start repurposing and see if I can get some growth with it. Yes, that's it. And I'm going to open a loop as I close that one. The rest of the story is that other opportunities are coming up, and now I get to make choices of, do I want to chase the shiny object of the other opportunity, or do I want to turn that opportunity over to others? I'm going to talk more about that because I've had some epiphanies there. All right. Love to all. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.